Hello, everyone. I'm Kamesh Shekar. I lead the privacy and data governance vertical at the Dialogue. It's a Delhi-based think tank. Today, I would be presenting my project at Internet Society, which is titled Prevalence-Based Curation Process for tackling disinformation and misinformation in social media. So, what is the problem? So while disinformation and misinformation is not a new threat, it has been accelerated by social media platforms where high-tech information like election-related information, health-related, are critical consequences of on individuals and communities in real life. Thus, gets muddled up with disinformation and misinformation. Presently, the function of establishing any policies around like tackling disinformation is distributed across many actors, including social media platforms, government, multi-stakeholder groups, users, and intergovernmental organizations. So we have seen that platforms use various technological measures. These in terms of tackling disinformation, like automated hashtagging and other predictive machine learning tools for detecting and tackling unlawful content. But these technological measures have their merits to an extent, especially where platforms can act faster and also at scale. At the same time, we increasingly see that like content falling through the cracks due to false negatives and getting struck down due to like false positives. The one of the reasons for this, this kind of like fall through the cracks is happening is because there is like a lot of concentration happening at the content level. Content level moderation than like process level intervention that the platforms do. So against this against this backdrop is where like I propose one such process level intervention that could refine the content moderation pipeline and enable an effective or efficient use of tools and resources across this entirety. So I propose a prevalence-based gradation process, a system that uses prevalence as an integral element for hard moderation to tackle disinformation and misinformation. This prevalence-based gradation process could act as a means through which social media platforms can, evaluate content using ex-ante measures and exercise optimal corrective actions in a calibrated format, adjusted according to the exposure level of the information. Here, the exposure and the prevalence level of the information, again, is not just about the popularity, but rather calibrated information bucketing, like the one you see on the right. The table on the right is a simple prevalence-based gradation matrix. It uses data points such as, number of followers, likes, shares to bucket high-stake information, ranging from high to low levels and chances of failure. So, for instance, information in bucket 1 to 3 from the table should be subjected to ex-ante scrutiny, that is evaluating the prevalent high-stake information to find disinformation and misinformation, while the information in the bucket 4 to 6 stays on the high alert. So now, when we figure out that, the information in 1 to 3 is actually misleading or disinformation or misinformation, the corrective action must be calibrated such that information of two different prevalence levels must be subjected to appropriate corrective actions. For instance, information bucket 1 should be treated different from the information bucket 2 and subsequent buckets. So, moving on, what's the goal of the project is to answer a couple of questions in terms of making this entire process robust. What are the data points, levels of gradation, thresholds for the buckets, and high-stake information to be considered? How can we democratically determine this model term boundaries and counters? Because the platform should not take these decisions. What are the corrective actions and so measures that social media platforms can use in achieving the enforcement goals? And how can this be optimally calibrated, as I was discussing, in terms of corrective actions versus alignment towards the enforcement goals? Well, a major question which the project is trying to answer is how are we making the platforms to buy in the strategies to lead towards implementation? Also, it's very important to confront the pros, unintended consequences, loopholes in this process, such that we can make a robust system in terms of confronting the unintended consequences. So so status of the project currently is to get various social various stakeholders perspectives on like various issues and like various aspects of the plan, like the proposed intervention. So some of the stakeholders that I would like, I've already started engaging with are like social media platforms themselves, and then the researchers and academicians, civil society members, intergovernmental organizations, etc. So any lead that any of the audience could give us, or the people who are using these platforms can give us, could be very very helpful in terms of like us interviewing them to make the process better. So thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting you all at the symposium.